Good evening, Super League. Happy Sunday, and hope you're all well. And welcome to what is game week 17 in the CM 0102 SL. After tonight's round of fixtures, we will be into single digits for the games remaining. So it is the final kind of dart to the finish, I would say. And joining me tonight, absolutely delighted to say, for the first time ever when I've been streaming, so I'm chuffed that he's came and joined us, is the one and only Red Rust Andy manager. It's Savage. How you doing, bud?
Good evening, yeah. We're all very good, yeah?
Yeah, good mate, good mate. I think, if you just give me 2 seconds, I think Champ has just crashed on me, mate. So just while I reboot, just give us 2 seconds. Season so far, Savage, you're kind of little bit up and down, but definitely kind of in the hunt for that dotted line. How have you kind of found it so far this season? How would you kind of describe the form that you boys have had?
It has been a little bit mental. Going from 1 week for 5 goals to getting beat by 4. It's been very up and down. But yeah, it's overall though, couldn't really be much happier with it. It's a big change from wallowing in 14th for all season. It's,
Yeah, I was gonna kind of say you definitely kind of in the chat have expressed quite a bit how frustrated you've been at times with some really good results and then some bad results. In terms of the ones that kind of really stand out, you've absolutely smashed Fulchester and Northern Burn, scoring 4 against 2 of the top 3 sides. And then actually, every now and again, I'll just rock up to a game and kind of offer very little. What do you think the kind of reason for that is, Savage? Is there any reason? Is it just the game engine being the enigma that we know and love?
I think it's just a game engine. I mean, I know, I submit a new tactic every game week with a new title on, but it's minimal tweaks every game. It's nothing revolutionary from first game of the season really, and yeah, you get results like that. It just goes up and down. It's no rhyme or reason to it. Just does what it wants, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all at the mercy of it. It's a cruel mistress at times. Speaking of cruel mistresses, I don't know if you've seen the tweets I posted. Probably around 5-6 o'clock, just in advance of tonight. I was just having a kind of last little tweaks for late submissions in the teams and stuff, and Sloths were on 14 points at game week 6, and then have proceeded to have 3 points in 10 games. 3 points in 10 games from the side that was looking really good after 6 games. Where I mean, what the hell do you think's happened there?
I mean, it's hard to say, innit? I don't really remember who was involved at the very start of the season. Was Alf involved from the off?
Yeah, from the off, mate. From the off. I mean,
so,
if you look at this kind of 11 that he's, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So there's no. What I mean to say is that there's no change in staff, so there's not any particular change in ways of thinking or anything. So it is a bit bizarre. It's a bit bizarre because was it Haggis that they beat?
I mean, they were beating everyone at the start. They only had one scoreline that made their drop points inside 6 games, and then have only won once inside the last 10. But we'll come on to them when they come. In terms of, we do have a running order tonight, Savage, and if you just let me make sure that I kind of keep up with that. Any games kind of standing out really for you tonight in terms of being interesting?
Ours is a good game.
Yeah, I think it's make or break for both of us, that, to be fair, mate.
And I think Badgers and Fulchester as well, because Fulchester have had a few dodgy results, haven't they? So whether that's a bit of a bounce back from that away from home should be a good one as well.
Absolutely. And we are going to start with the East Coast Cosmos, who are hosting the Los Santos Kings. Dimble, as ever, doesn't really kind of change much, kind of sticks with his tried and tested. There are a couple of deals in the pipeline. He's agreed to bring Lee Boyer in for Simkoviak and D'Alessandro, with Juarez being part of that deal from Sancti as well. So Simkoviak, who's been decent. Is that where you live now, Duggan? Very Partridge. Mate, it's the spare bedroom, and you've got the full view of it tonight because there's no dirty washing on the bed. You see, usually like the camera's tilted that way because it's the spare room where all the washing goes. So anyway, over to Cosmos, who play Los Santos Kings tonight. Dimble finds himself having been beaten by Vikings in the last game, but still finds himself 5th in the league. Any thoughts on this Cosmos side and the season that Dimble's having, Savage?
I mean, it's a strong side, isn't it? It's one of the big bazzer in midfield is probably quite a key one. But it again though, it's just the game engine just doing funny things to him. It's not that long ago we were talking about getting anything from Cosmos was really difficult. And it's just tapered off a little bit for seemingly no real reason.
Yeah, and I think one of the teams who wish they'd had a tapered off for no reason season would be Hodgie and the Los Santos Kings. Find themselves 14th at the minute, really, really struggling to find anything that'll click, but not wanting to change too much. This is how he goes tonight. For the first time in a while, he's got Vogel and Matty on the same pitch at the same time, which will hopefully have an impact. But what do you make of this Los Santos Kings 11?
Good looking formation. I think it's same as what I'm playing by some shorter arrows, I think, tonight. I was really tempted to approach him for Barthez, but I don't think I'm getting that there.
Score predictions here, Savage.
I'm going to say 2-1 East Coast.
Best of luck to both managers. Dimble is one of those in the top 6 that is looking over his shoulder, and Hodgie is just trying to kind of look to get something going, even though we're 17 games in. Game week 17 starts with an early Shevchenko chance who puts it over the bar. Ferguson and Harry Kuehl both involved. Dimble will be liking what he's seeing there. Pizarro has a free kick and Barthez saved. Rivaldo now. Michielini feels as though Cosmos are just putting the pressure on. Ferguson taking on a couple, puts it wide. Shevchenko with another chance. He's definitely had at least 2 shots this first half. Pizarro misses another one. It's end-to-end stuff here. You feel the first goal is going to be absolutely massive as we go. Tahibi with a big save. Feels like Los Santos are coming into it the last 10 minutes. And there is the goal. There is the breakthrough. Andriy Shevchenko, who was getting a little bit of stick. And there is Kolashak's offside. Ferguson offside. Shevchenko, who was getting a little bit of stick on the last couple of streams about his limited contribution, does put the away side 1-0 up at half-time. Kolashak's with a disallowed goal. Match that there don't really reflect how attacking each side seemed to the Tech Savage.
No, perhaps it just means there's a lot going on in midfield, though. Nothing happening in those in either third, really, either end.
Yeah, Jens just saying the text is lagging there a lot. Yeah, I am getting a little bit of a notification that the Wi-Fi is just a little bit laggy. So let me just see if I can remove some background apps from running here, guys. Apologies. If you can just keep me posted. The old Virgin Media hasn't been great over the last couple of days. So we go over to Los Santos Kings at half-time. Shevchenko with an 8. Nakata getting the AMC assist there, which was one of the issues that Hodgie was kind of trying to scratch about and find an answer to. No yellow cards to worry about and no fitness concerns there as they do find themselves 1-0 up at half-time. Over at the Cosmos, 7s and 6s, nothing too terminal, but Harry Kuehl really struggling to get involved in the game. Barry Ferguson looked to be a lot more involved than 8 passes and 5 completed, kind of seemed. Hodgie goes as is. Would you be doing anything here if you were Dimble, Savage?
No. I think that there's no standout low performances, is there? But it is a bit of a sea of 6s and 7s, so
yeah,
nothing,
absolutely.
nothing special going on there.
Dimble doesn't blink just yet, lads. If you can keep us updated on whether we're getting lots and lots of lag or whether it's all right, that'll be grand. We jumped to 51 minutes. Someone hits the bar. I think it was Yardell. Yellow card for Michelini, 53 minutes. Ferguson with another chance, and Barthez is equal to it. 62 minutes played, and we do jump massively there. 8 minutes inside one click, and we go over Yapstam having a blinder at the back. It wasn't a yellow card for Michelini. It was a yellow card for Stanic. Those are the Cosmos ratings, and there is conditions. Harry Kewell, who we said at half-time was struggling to assert himself, is on 79% fitness. That might be a concern for Dimble as he looks to try and chase this game. As we said, he is one of those teams that is looking over his shoulder a little bit, maybe feeling the likes of Dudley Hill and Stanley kind of breathing down his neck. Certainly Smuts will be sitting a little bit more comfortable as a team that's in and around that 6 and that dotted line, with Dimble potentially dropping points here. We go over to the LSK. Anything you would be doing if you were either team?
Yeah, I think for Cosmos, Stanic has got to come off. He's heading for a red, that lad. Low rating, yellow card. He's asking for it.
He has been a bit of a mercurial figure for Dimble. He's a bit of a Cosmos kind of cult hero. Certainly a player that Dimble absolutely loves since he brought him in as an outer leaguer a few seasons ago. I think it was, might have been 2 seasons ago or so. Haven't seen anything yet from kind of either manager, but in terms of kind of in play, bearing in mind that everybody else will be kind of getting a draw because technically they all kick off at the same time. With Stanley getting the point there would potentially put them out of the running. Where are we at? Casterman for Argel. Casterman for Agat. Please, mate, that's it. And then Dimble responds by saying Zielius to left MC, Hussein for Jardel, and a 2-1-4-1-2. That looks good to go, and we shall see how that goes until full time. Who's getting the second goal here, Savage?
Still think it's East Coast.
Still thinks it's East Coast. Nakata with another chance. The Elias is on a book, and what a sub that is. Fifey said a few weeks ago that he feels that Dimble is one of those managers who does get the big substitution calls on 60 minutes more often than not. Right. Push on Salanch. Hussein gets it over the ball. What a brace that would have been coming off the bench. It would be a massive, massive 3 points if Dimble was to manage to get this. Pizarro, and he has, out of absolutely nowhere. That goal must surely see it through. Oh, we're lagging pretty bad.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Is it lagging bad for you, is it?
Yeah, it's bad for me even. What
Okay, 2 seconds, boys. That's a bit shit. Sorry, Hodgie and Dimble. That was what the crack was. Dimble probably didn't see that second goal, but he does come back and does win 2-1 at full time. Those are the ratings. Michelini with a 9 and a man of the match performance. And who got that second assist? Nobody got that second assist. It was just an absolute solo effort from Claudio Pizarro. And there is the Los Santos. Shevchenko with a 7 and a goal. But other than that, nothing really to write home about. Any thoughts there, Savage, at full time?
Yeah, if you just flick back to Los Santos, Justin Walker, what was it, 7 attempted tackles? Is that non-1?
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Good spot for a lone MC. That's not. I mean, Tomas, is that 9 for my resolution's a bit bad.
Yeah, 3 from 9.
3 from 9, 7 from 2 from Vogel as well. It's there's a few there really let him down tackle wise. Yeah.
All right then. Well played, boys. Savage, I'm just going to have a little play around here and see if there's anything in my end that is making this lag so much. There's absolutely nothing out of the ordinary that wouldn't have been done for the last 50 odd streams that I've done. Like, just keep an eye on it, lads, and if it's absolutely atrocious, then I'll have to look to do a little bit of a reboot and go back live, because it's unusually unusually slow. Next, we do have Spartak Sloths, who we spoke about at the start of the show. And Savage, I'll hand over to you because I don't know if you've seen this at the start. But that's what Alf, and it is Alf at the wheel. Rob has handed over to Alf for the remainder of the season. This is what he's put out tonight. What do you think?
I'm in two minds because I prefer. I like it when people do their own thing and something different. Major. I used to do that before I realised I couldn't do it if I wanted to get anywhere near the 6. I want this to work. It'd be fantastic if the Alf narrow formation was the thing that turned the Sloth season around, but I've just never seen it work. The wings are too strong on with the players that are in the leagues to just leave them wide open like that.
Yeah, and if there's somebody who needs to be sending Alf and Rob a Christmas card, it's Zinedine Zidane, who has played 3/4 of the games and hasn't had a goal, hasn't had an assist, hasn't had a man of the match, and is averaging 6.56, but still finds himself as a lone MC. And if there's probably one manager who would absolutely hate having that played against him, it's Fifey, because as we know, he has a kind of a criminal kind of lack of belief in the fates of the game, really. This is how he goes tonight, and I suppose it's absolutely necessary to say that this is Fifey. He's got 3 wins in 4, and this would be a win that would pull him up to par with Foss Road, with them still to play tonight. And he doesn't change it from last game. Why would he? And how do you think they're going to get on tonight, Savage?
I can only see an Exiles win. I mean, when you consider again that there's absolutely nothing on the wings for Sloth, and you've got Nedved down one side and Zambrotta down the other, it's got the potential to be an absolute bloodbath. But
yeah,
we'll see. I hope not. I hope not, because nobody likes that.
We've got a ghost game, so maybe the bloodbath will be the last game of the evening. Apologies to Fifey and Alf. So we go quickly over to the Dudley Hill boys, who are hosting their good friends, the Mega Horse, and your best mate, the Mega Horse. This is how Dudley go tonight. They are one of the teams who've been on a bit of a resurgent run, with only 1 defeat in the last 7 or 8, and the kind of upward trajectory is almost the opposite of the Sloths, in that they've now crossed past 4 or 5 games ago, and it's Jens is saying it's lagging before the game. There's definitely something going on tonight. Apologies, boys. This is how Dudley go. Savage, what's your thoughts on the Dudley Hill boys tonight?
Yeah, really good side, and it's a few of my ex-players propping the side up. But yeah, I don't know. I'm spoken as much to Ste recently, because he got a bit upset when I beat him the other day, and yeah, we're not really talked since. He's a bit upset. But someone
who you probably have spoken to is the Horse. What's your thoughts on what he's kind of knocking together at the minute? He's kind of went to this almost 2-7-1. It's probably the most conventional formation that Horse has played consistently in a while. How's their season going, and what's your thoughts?
I did say too, it's missing a backwards arrow. Mendieta maybe is running the wrong way, but it's a shame, really. We've hit our transfer limit, and there's still players I'd take off him. So we do sort of run pretty similar teams sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your predictions? That's never a second ghost game.
Oh.
What is going on tonight? There's definitely some massive gremlins knocking about tonight. That is an absolute load of bollocks. That it's been a while since we've had 2 ghost games. Over to then another preview. Northern Burn against the Red Vikings. Jens's night has just got a little bit earlier. Northern Burn on a good run of form, but one kind of poor result. and they are sitting pretty in amongst the top three, very, very consistent. This is the 11 tonight, and he's kind of, still looking around for a few deals. Right, that's bad lag. 2 seconds. Fifey's saying, what's our options here? I'm going to have to, Savage, I think I'm going to have to close. Nah, I'm not, because then people aren't going to get back in live. I think we just have to crack on, lads. It's the first stream in absolutely forever where there's been any kind of massive lag issues. So we're just going to crack on. Vikings are on a little bit of a resurgent run, Savage, and they've won 3 of the last 4, 4 of the last 5 even. Last defeat was about 6 games ago to Foss Road. Brozek is in absolute fire form for the first time in a while. What's been the secret of Jens turning it around?
Brozek is. I'm a big fan of Brozek. I like playing him at AMI, but it's not really a popular position we use, is it? Really, AMI, but he's brilliant. He's brilliant. Such a young lad as well.
No way, 3 ghost games. What the fuck's going on here? This is a little bit mental. What the fuck's going on here? Have we ever had 3 ghost games? Right, Savage, I'm going to skip the preview for Fulchester Badgers and just see if it actually gets us to a game. Right, okay. Right, it's Badgers Fulchester. It's got us to a game. Fuck me.
Dear. Yeah.
Are you still there?
Oh dear. Yeah.
Right, predictions
just about
for Badgers Fulchester.
Let's say Badgers 3-0.
Macca has tried a couple of key points. Badgers don't make many changes. Fulchester have submitted a new tactic file with a few tweaks. Macca kind of indicated it was a bit more attacking than he has been. And bearing in mind the goals that he's conceded, that's really, really fucking brave if that's the case. And hopefully, keep us posted in the chat, lads. Yeah, absolutely, Tato. I'm not going to rush through subs or anything. Hopefully, minimise the commentaries ahead of the visuals too. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, boys. Don't know what's going on. I really do apologise, but we'll see how we get on tonight. Agahawa with an early chance. And there is Clivert with an early goal. There is Agahawa with an early goal. And is Fulchester's poor form. There is Robin, who has been the kind of the spark in. And there's Rossini, and it's 3-1. Badgers now, this is kind of getting scarily close to 15 goals inside 3 games. Macca said he went more attacking with the tactic file. Desai, Rossini hits the bar. 25 minutes played and it's a penalty. Zinoni scores 4-1 to Badgers and we've only played half an hour. This is a little bit crazy. Zinoni, Emre, Giggs, Constantino getting himself amongst it at the wrong end of the pitch. Helguera, Dida delivering it up pitch. It feels like there's a lot of blue and black. Macca will be a little bit lucky to get the half time at 4-1. And Savage, was it laggy for you there, mate, or did you catch much of that?
No, I got most of it, sadly. That's absolutely atrocious, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not given up, has he, Macca? He's not put something really, really self-destructive in his tactic that's just bending over for teams, because this is worse than what we're happening with Astor.
Yeah, I mean, he submitted a new tactic file tonight, and obviously we don't look under the hood of people's tactics. It's like one of our red lines, so we don't know what he's kind of tweaked. But he did say in his submission that he kind of felt as though it was a bit more attacking, which really, really surprised us, because when we were having a bit of a debrief in kind of various group chats and things, me and Tato kind of were of the opinion that the 2 centre-halves and the 1 DM was kind of leaving him a little bit exposed, and maybe that's why. But yeah, to see Badgers 4-1 up at half time is ridiculous, really. Are you doing anything if you're Macca at half time, or Hopkins?
Who have we got? I'm really not sure. I mean, Emre is the obvious one there that stands out. He's done nothing. He's missing all his tackles. He's on a 5. So, I mean, he's the one thing, but I don't know. I don't know what you do with that 4-1 at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, the
really
Constantino,
don't know what you do with that.
The Constantino 5's a little bit disappointing given how poor Crespo's been the last couple of games. I can see why he's made that call. But Badgers go as is, and I haven't seen Macca in the comms. I've seen Hopkins really early on, but they may have darted expecting a running order to fulfill. But with the ghost games that we've had tonight, it's a little bit mental. So we are going to go to 60 minutes and see what happens. Feels like a lot more Badgers pressure. Clivert, Giggs, Clivert, Rossini with a chance now, hit the bar in the first half. Badgers really smelling blood. We talked about a bloodbath with Sloths and the Exiles. Agahawa with another chance. And we go over to the Fulchester boys. And we see how they are doing. There's no real condition issues. But in terms of ratings, there's a couple of 5s turned into 6s rather. Hersey not really offering much. What would you be doing there if you were Macca?
Still Emery. Centre of the field. Nothing going on.
Wow, look at that from Badgers.
I mean, there's nothing you can do against that, is there? Absolutely nothing you can do. But I think Emery is probably the one that's really letting them down.
Yeah, I think the worry for Macca is that this is turning into just a little bit more than a kind of wobble. Again, I haven't seen Hopkins or Macca about, so we will go to full time and see what happens. Again, it feels like a lot more blue and black, although black and silver do have a little chance with Constantino there. We do get to 85 minutes. So Gino Constantino in the area can't quite catch it or take it, and then Zanoni getting amongst it, and then we race to the final whistle. And much like the previous couple of games have been for Fulchester, they find themselves on the end of a really, really, really big defeat, and that's probably Tato's best performance of the season. Savage.
I don't know. I mean, it is obviously it's a good performance, isn't it? No question. But I think just against whatever the hell's happening at Fulchester, it's it's like kicking a puppy or something in here at the minute.
Do you know what I would say though, mate? Horrible. I would say though they've been on a terrible run, but they still find themselves third.
It's mental, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? So it's testament to the fact that they did go so many undefeated.
Yeah, maybe this is just the game engine taking a chunk out of them.
Yeah, or taking a dislike to. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely kind of not seen a slide like this before. I don't think. We mentioned Sloth slide, but Macca still finds himself in third, which is testament to just how good they did at the start of the season. Where we go next, we go to Unicorns v Haggis next. Foss Road Unicorns are the home side. We'll go over to them. They find themselves in 6th tonight. So with that Badgers and Coast win, they do really need a win to set pace and to not be looking over their shoulder too much. This is how they go. What do you think, Sav?
Couldn't tell you. It's not loaded up yet.
Really?
There we go. Yeah.
Well, there must be a fair bit lag. I can only apologise, lads. Sorry.
Yeah, there's... Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed actually because he got Saviola. I think he signed him from Fife, didn't he? And I asked about him. It must have been minutes after they signed that deal because I really wanted Saviola. He's come back into it a bit, hasn't he, as well? So he's playing all right. Again,
they're a bit of an up and down kind of team. We know what Smuts thinks about his away form and some of the tactics he's submitted as a result. But he'll be hoping for for a solid home performance tonight. Haggis probably for the first time this season have kind of got a couple missing, although you would say not many first teamers beyond Van Nistelrooy. They have been the league standout side this season, no doubt about it. Rumours abound of Peter Greaves no longer being at the helm and Campbell being back at the wheel tonight, although not reason to change anything. And in terms of personnel, Van Nistelrooy makes way for Jimenez, and Guede comes in for Del Vecchio. What do you... Smuts is just kicking off that Yakubu's number 13. Sorry, Smuts. Del Vecchio's a loss, Savage, did you say, yeah?
Yeah, I think Del Vecchio's quite a big loss. Still a strong side, though, isn't it? So...
Yeah. Absolutely.
My boy Perez doing his bits.
There's definitely the likes of Stanley, Dudley, Exiles, Vikings. Well, basically everybody below that dotted line that'll be cheering on Haggis tonight. What's your prediction here, Sav?
I think I'm going to go 4-0 Foss Road because nobody wants Haggis to win. That's the stylish. That's a stylish thing now, isn't it?
That's the fashionable thing, isn't it? Definitely. I think they definitely embrace that. Guede puts them 1-0 up. No 13 for Montero. Sorry, Edwards, mate. I'll make sure I do that. And apologies, Smuts, for 13 for Yakubu. Ziriberto getting himself amongst it. Obviously, he was a former Haggis boy in the previous iteration. Vieri getting amongst it there. Saviola now getting really involved. Big save from the Haggis keeper. Emerton feels a little bit more Foss Road. Penalty shouts, but not given. Referee waves it away. We get to 40 minutes. Vieri, Guede, Zanetti, Perez hits the post. Jimenez has a follow-up, and we get to 45 minutes. And it is 1-0 Haggis. And probably a really 50-50 game, that based on the match stats, Savage.
Yeah, I think Haggis have been a bit more clinical, haven't they, with it? But they probably deserve to be ahead at half-time, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything of note really standing out there? Well, Ibrahim Saeed, who I think was a low-key, really, really good signing for them. He's a massive, massive player in any one of those three DMC's positions and looks fairly good. Foss Road just a little bit flat in terms of the match ratings individually there, Savage?
Yeah, it's all far too many sixes, isn't there? Far too many sixes. Liverani doing a right, putting a right shift in. All them pass. I don't know who he's passing to. Backwards between him and Hoffland, I think.
And I was just going to point out there as well that kind of arrests a little bit of a slide. I know Smuts was really kind of potentially questioning his place in the side after two really, really bad performances. Haggis are in early with an okay 60 minutes. Thank you, Campbell, mate. And we'll see what Smuts is going to do. Heskey, who's been fairly good for them in terms of popping up with a goal every now and again and putting himself about. It'll be interesting to see if he can get amongst it. Not seen any subs from Smuts come through, but I will just give it a couple of more seconds. Raul up top and Frank Ascental with an arrow. Smuts, thank you very much. I appreciate that, mate. And we will roll to 60. And I'll do my best to text to commentate over any lag. Vieri with a shot, saved by the keeper. Ziriberto now putting himself amongst it. We get to 59 minutes. Raul puts it wide, definitely having an impact since going up top there. And Smuts will probably feel like if one of those chances can fall to Saviola, he is the informed man in this team. He has been very, very good. Then potentially he can find his way back into the game. Over at the Haggis boys, 8s, 7s and 6s. In terms of performances, in terms of condition, nothing really standing out. You'd maybe be tempted to hook Jimenez. He is a backup for Van Nistelrooy, but they haven't really got a like-for-like replacement on the bench. Anything you'd be doing if you were either team here, Savage?
I don't think I'd be doing anything as Haggis. It's strong performance, and it's nothing really obviously wrong with it. Foss Road, maybe just some fresh legs, maybe, but only for the sake of putting some fresh legs on and the sort of talisman that is Emil Heskey, maybe, but not through a bad performance and out, just for fresh legs, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Haggis doing, or Campbell rather, doing his traditional swap of players, and we'll see if that has an impact. I am going to give Smuts just a little bit longer because this stage of the season, we're half an hour left to play. When you are behind, you kind of do tend to make bigger subs than you would do much earlier in the season. This would be a massive result for us lot in the chasing pack, Savage.
Yeah, definitely. I don't man. I must admit, I don't look at the table too much. There's too many numbers. I can't keep track. Not like some of you can. I can't keep track of it one game to next.
You can end up going down the wormhole and just absolutely kind of sending yourself a bit mad with all the different permutations and who's got to play who and who's home and who's away. I still haven't seen anything from Smuts.
Yeah, he's just put someone through.
Right, okay, there we go. It just came through there. Brilliant. Dalmot for Heskey. 3 up top. Heskey central. Titov for Liverani. And into AM left of Franca. I was on both. And I'm guessing you're going to go that. Does that make sense to you, Savage, based on what's come through?
Yeah, he's not put. He's not mentioned anything about Biscan.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's just a centralised, and I cannot see him having an arrow on there because of the wing backs having the arrows. So we are going to crack on till full time. Bishkan in there with a big tackle, it seemed. On there is Titov with an injury, which isn't really great. So it is going to be the man Yakubu. So we'll just make the sub, and then
how much time has he actually had there?
3 minutes. Oh well, yeah, 5 minutes.
Right.
And then Smuts, so I've made the change. If you just let me know where you want to put him, potentially keep him there, maybe switch him for Emerton. I don't know. It's a bit of a dodgy one. What would you be doing there, Savage?
What you've done there.
Yeah, maybe put him on the
keep the shape.
Right if you've got a preference. I know your cube is a D, DM or C. So you'd maybe, I don't know. Peruzzi, play 2 keepers. Okay, we shall do that, mate. Titov. In AMC Smuts and go. You imagine if Peruzzi scores here, Savage.
Absolute. What's it? That's absolute limbs.
Absolute limbs indeed. Smuts, mate, if you can just confirm you just want him in AMC, and then we can crack on. That'd be grand. And again, apologies for the lag tonight, lads. I've got no reason why it's happening. And obviously midstream can't kind of unpick that. There is Christian Vieri. He's got 2 keepers on the pitch, but they can't make a difference as Vieri scores what is another goal for the Haggis boys as they look to extend that lead at the top and really probably are on the verge of securing a queue, if not in 2 or 3 games' time, then maybe a little bit earlier, depending on other results. And Phosphorus actually created a hell of a lot, but just didn't take their chances. Haggis, on the other hand, absolutely clinical and end up being very, very comfortable 2-0 winner, Savage.
Yeah. Whether he's got too many on long shots, maybe. But
Haggis again, as they usually are, really, really solid. The DMs controlling the game and putting their tackles about, and also passes. And just in terms of Phosphorus, just not good enough tonight, but they will go again. Concern would be Smuts has been so reliable with his home form that is a couple of wobbles at home that he has now had. Over to our game then, Savage. This is how you go tonight. Like I said, you are a team that's been a bit up and down, but you have, had some big results over the last couple of weeks. Kind of me looking at this side, this really scares us. That really scares us, and that definitely scares us. What's your plans for tonight?
Click the continue game button and see what it decides for me tonight.
Yeah,
it's going to be one or the other.
Go over to your opponents tonight. And the reason why I'm so worried about Roberto Carlos is that this guy, who really is, at best a third choice right back, is having to deputise for Steve Finnan. And we go as is. Horgan and Campbell have been pretty good the last few games. But we'll see if they can. What is this game? Birmingham tonight. Are you making any predictions here, Savage?
Yeah, I'm going to say Stanley 2-0 win.
Yeah, I think you could put our season to bed tonight, mate. I think Carlos supplying Sigalko is the stuff that used to give us nightmares with Burn, and definitely giving us nightmares tonight. Sigalko and Carlos, the two getting into the mix there. Ronaldinho has a free kick early, but Westerveld equal to it. Hagen booking early doors, and there is an early injury for Yao Pinto, who has been low-key good since he came in about 5 games ago. Savage, what's the sub you're making here, mate?
Has to be just a straight Semak swap, I think.
Straight Semak swap.
Yeah, for now.
And we'll see how we get on to half time. Simeone dies, Lacan kicks it up. Feels as though there's been a hell of a lot of Red Rose Stanley pressure. Can they get a goal before half time? Half time has been kind of coming, but doesn't get a goal before half time. I think you've dominated that, and the stats would indicate as so. Over at the Stanley stats, kind of 8s, 6s, and 9 for Roberto Carlos. Knew that was coming in terms of being against that backup right back. You doing anything at half time there, Savage? You looked very in control of that game.
Let's have a look. It's just I'm a bit behind you on the screens, obviously. Yeah, there we are. Right. No, I'll leave it till 60.
Leave it till 60. In terms of Sancte, there's a couple of yellow cards that are a little bit of a worry. We're just going to make the one change. We're going to go McInnes for Lee Boya. Boya can try and do something before he departs. And we will go to 60. Savage, yeah? You happy with that?
Yeah.
Good lads, we'll see what happens until 60. Free kick, and there is Pippo Inzaghi, who does put his team 1-0 up with the first shot on target of the game. I think another save from Westerveld. Can the Sancte boys hang on? We'll have a quick little look. I'm a little bit worried about those bookings, but there's no reason for me to change it. In terms of Stanley, this is how you look. Cheers, Campbell. I appreciate that, mate. If people can just keep us posted about the lag, that would be good. Carlos on a 9, 8s and 7s and 6s. Condition-wise, this is how you look. You doing anything here, Sav?
So what were the ratings again?
Sorry, Fifey. Sorry, Jens.
Got one right now. Let's see. Just put a forward arrow on Semak.
Semak, yeah?
Yeah, just straight up. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else to be done with it.
I think we could be value for a red card here, Savage, mate, to be fair. Corner to Sancte. Can they hang on? Inzaghi gets another chance. Davids, Rui Costa with a bicycle kick. Karagunis, Ronaldinho with a free kick. There's all sorts happening here. Can they get an equaliser? 87 minutes played. Ronaldinho has been fouled. 2 minutes left to play. Ndiaye, Boya, flying deep over the bar. Boya again. Karagunis, and there is the full-time whistle. Unlucky, Savage. Don't think you deserve to lose that, mate. You dominated for 45 minutes, but find yourself on the wrong end of a 1-0 result. What's your thoughts there, mate, at full time?
Yeah, fun on that. I mean, it's 8-7, 7-7, 8-7, 8-7, 8. It's just one of those games. Just one of those games. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing on there I'd pull out and say I need to change that before next game. Yeah, nothing else you can do here, is there? But good game though. It was a good game, but pretty tight game.
Yeah, it does come and go, doesn't it? I think we stole one there. Fifey stole one against me the other night, and I think I've stole one in return. Dimble just asking what you're drinking there, Savage. It looks like invisible juice, so I think with your background it keeps disappearing. So I think Dimble's just asking what you're drinking there.
It's just rum. It's just out of a barrel.
And we do go to Sloths VX Sales, who you predicted as being a bloodbath. Savage, what's your prediction here?
We're still going to go bloodbath, I think.
still going to go bloodbath. And it looks as though that Sloths have got the better of the game early doors. Maybe it's going to be a red and green bloodbath and proving you wrong. But there is Viduka right on cue, who I think looks really, really good this early. But there is Van Bommel. When was the last time he scored in the Super League? Doesn't get many goals, but he's pulled his side back into it. And there's hope for the Alf Bridge revival just yet. Impenza scuffs the top of the bar. Janachetta has a shot. Feels very, very Sloths heavy this. Oliveira, Luis Enrique, Impenza, Van Bommel was offside. Zidane with a chance there, a double chance for Zidane. Should have put himself 2-1 up at half time. And Trezeguet at the back end of the half looked very, very good. And what do we know compared to Alf Bridge? I said when he came on comms the other week that he's one of the few managers who actually have a track record in the real world of being involved in football. I don't know how much you caught of that, Savage, because of the issues tonight, but that looked very, very in control from the Sloths bar, though. The one goal conceded.
Yeah. I mean, it is skipping about a bit tonight, but it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah. Strange one, because you're wide. Like I said earlier, the wide players you're expecting to get a lot of the ball, I've had absolutely none of it. Zambrotta's done nothing at all. Nedved's not done much more. It's bizarre, that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jens has just spotted that, and I was just going to come back to it there, that Zinedine Zidane's actually kind of running things in the midfield there, really, really doing his bit, potentially, against what the majority of the kind of consensus would have been at the start of kickoff. This is a big kind of 45 minutes for Fifey, really. Sloths have very much kind of decided that their season's over, but Exiles are very much back, amongst the chase and pack, really. With Fosse Road losing, they'd be very, very close to coming into them. So it'd be interesting to see what Fifey does here, although you wouldn't think he'd move the shape too much. He's rested on this shape and tactic file over the last couple of weeks, so you'd think it maybe be personnel, Savage?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always tempted to go to 60 anyway. I'm not a huge fan of making half-time subs, so I would imagine that's probably what he's gonna do. But there's some really low numbers in there, though. Really low numbers.
Yeah, just being starved of the ball, isn't it? I think, when people play narrow, it's usually to absolutely just kind of try and control the ball. And what you'd probably say is that bar, 3 minutes at the start, Alf's kind of completed his objective there.
Yeah, absolutely controlled it, kept it in the middle of the pitch. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, and I haven't seen anything from either. Could be quite a big change from Fifey. Campbell spotting that Richard Wright has been good for Fifey in goal. He's had a bit of a torrid time with keepers, to be fair. There's a fair few goals he's conceded where one or the other, him or Frey, have spilt it. So I am just going to hang on, given that this is a really big game and also went to a ghost game and kind of delayed and held people up. So Fifey, Alf, if you're about, if you can let me know what you'd like to do. Have you seen anything come through from Fifey there, Savage?
No, I've kept an eye on it.
I am going to give them a little bit longer than usual, given the lag issues we've had tonight, but also just given the ghost game issues we've had tonight. I hope Alf hasn't kind of logged off and then thought they were going to. Fifey, your changes haven't came through, mate. Sorry, I've got Jens saying Alpha's got Zidane pulling strings, Richard Wright doing bits in nets, and then your comment saying you're saying yours was before Ian. So I really do apologise about that, Fifey, but the fact it's not came through for Savage either. I wonder if it's like a YouTube issue tonight with that happening, but we'll see. Alf waiting on the rugby, potentially. How are we getting on in the rugby? Oh, South Africa up by a point. Rob, if you're here and Alf isn't, then if you can, and some of the other lads as well, saying they haven't seen Fifey's changes as well, which kind of tells us there's probably a YouTube issue rather than an us issue. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Jens, mate. It's, you don't want to fuck anyone over. I don't want to mess this up, so appreciate your sympathy. In terms of Rob, if you are there, mate, given that Alf isn't here and given the given that, and now it's went back.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't. Given that
we've
are,
got something in there.
there we go. I see it now. Tactical swap with Gravison. Gravison swap with Veron. So Veron goes back to that DMC role that he has really, really done well, and sub Riquelme off for Gravison. And Rob Sloth goes as is all the way. Apologies for having to double post that, Fifey, but really do appreciate it. We go to 60 minutes. The Exiles kick off, and it feels as though it is a bit more blue and yellow since those changes. Fifey potentially getting the calls right here at half time. 55 minutes, we jump to 66 minutes, 11 minutes, and there is a chance. A volley put wide. Didn't quite catch who it was. Dimble commented a couple of pages back, a couple of comments back, that Viduka just looks good in the yellow and blue, harking back to that old Leeds kit. Are you doing anything here if you're Rob or Alf? Are you kind of trying to change the game? Oliveira on 75%, you'd maybe be tempted to get one of these two on, or would you just leave it as is?
No, I'd just leave that. I think he's gone as is anyway. But yeah, I'd leave it. You don't want to tinker with that, do you?
I mean, it would be something spectacular if Alf proved us all wrong for 67 minutes. Rob came in, made a change, and then they actually lost the game. That would be all sorts of kind of poetic Spartak sloths isms, I think. Oliveira started at 84%, so hasn't dropped much. Horse, the ever observant stream watcher. Your assistant saying Leeds Strongbow kits, absolutely. When they were scoring goals for fun.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous side, that Leeds side. Really, really good. I remember when Liverpool announced they'd signed Harry Kewell, and I thought that was it. I thought we were going to win everything because of how good he was for Leeds and how crap we were on the left for so many years. But he's probably up there with the most disappointing players I've ever seen in a Liverpool shirt, to be honest. Tristan for Lawson. Swap around the STs. There we go. Who's getting the winner here, Sav?
I still think Exiles.
Still think Exiles. It would be a big goal, and there is the goal. Oh, Viduka are in an offside position. We're going to slow this down. This is a really, really good value. 1-1. Van Bommel, who feels as though he's been absolutely everywhere tonight. 89 minutes, 90 minutes. Guigu, Nedved, Tristan, Enrique, Veron, Nedved, Takinardi, and he hits it high and wide, and that is a point. Fifey will probably be grateful to come away from a point, but Sloths really, really on the basis of the text up until the 60-minute mark, it'll feel as though they should have won that game, Sav.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I'm just still not convinced by the narrow. Not convinced by the narrow. They were in control, but the control was all through the centre, and they've only got one goal out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sloth's saying, Rob's saying, sorry, there was no bloodbath. The one thing Fifey will take away from that, he's still struggling to score at the top end of the pitch, but Richard Wright putting in a man of the match performance is really, really promising, because the keepers have been in and out. I think they've both played at least 6 or 7 games, and there's definite cause for concern in terms of who's going to be his number one going into next season. Did you pick a score for this, Savage?
Desmond.
Desmond.
This
is a massive.
I'm not going to pick either one of them.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah. I think Steve would definitely not be speaking to you if he did. I mean, this would be massive. Well, Fossey Road being beaten. Steve with a win, a 2-0 win for Steve would take him exactly level with Foss Road, and Stackington again, a win would pull them, above yourselves just below yourselves on goal difference. So we'll see how we go. We have got almost like a double tribute to the Strongbow Leeds United kit, with yellow and blue and yellow, although Horses is a little bit more navy. Kutusov getting involved there. Joe Cole, who's been fantastic from MC, is definitely growing into the game. Del Piero with a couple of free kicks, and there is Del Piero on his debut. And there is Kutusov, who's been fairly good since Horse decided to bring him in about 4 or 5 game weeks ago. Good save down by Abbiati. And there is Mendieta. What a 1-1 this is. Comandini, maybe there is a reason why the game decided to ghost game these 1-1s, because they've technically been better contests, and there is Contra. It looked as though Joe Cole had made most of the run in there, but Cosman Contra, who has been really, really good, and of course he's dropped back to DMR and not MR at the minute. Del Piero offside. Stackington really ruined that Mendieta goal being disallowed because they did look very, very good. And there is Joe Cole with another chance just before the half-time whistle, and Stackington are on top at half-time in what was an absolute slugfest. Any thoughts there, Sav?
Very, very even. It's a good game, this.
Yeah,
it's a good
really
game.
good.
Really
Game of the
tight.
night so far, I think. Joe Cole, again, continuing his good form from the midfield, but Del Piero on debut with a captain's armband, and Cosmin Contra doing what he does best. Over to Stackington, Sand, who's only been in for a couple of games now. Big lump up front was Horse's description. Doesn't really do much at half time and finds himself on a 5. The goal from Kutusov seems to be a solo effort, and Mendieta obviously unlucky with that offside disallowed goal. Appreciate the tato, mate. Thank you very much. And boys, I'll just give you a little bit longer considering the issues we've had tonight. Anything standing out here, Savage, for you that you'd be doing?
Ebbe is missing his brother. He's missing his brother, Dan. Told you. Peter Sand.
Yeah, was that a deal that kind of fell through, Sav?
It's a deal that can't go through. We've run out of deals. But
right,
he's missing
okay.
missing his brother. There's nothing particular standing out. I don't think. Bit quiet up front, but no, nothing had changed.
Yeah, I'm going to give Steve just a couple of minutes more because his phone was dying. Then I seen him jump on his missus's phone.
Can he just see his again?
Yeah, and then obviously he's jumped on his again. So it's good to see that there's not just gremlins in here tonight. But you probably don't want to be changing much if you're Steve. And there is the roll. And Horse is leaving little 60 as he usually does. So we do crack on. Another goal for Dudley would be absolutely massive and would put him exactly level with the Foss Road Unicorns. Oh, and who was that? Massimo Ambrosini just sending a shot over the bar. We go over to the Stacknam boys. Nothing really of note, either good or bad. Just bang average, really, but they only find themselves behind by a goal. Horse not a massive lover of the 2-7-1, so maybe he does kind of change that up ever so slightly. Over to Dudley Hill, who arguably ratings look a little bit poorer with Decor on a booking and a 5. If Hodgie's watching, he'd be saying if it was last season, he'd definitely be getting sent off. Although we know what's happened with the refs. Horse is definitely doing something there because Dakor and Patatoglu are both having poor games. Would you be changing anything if you were either manager here?
Yeah, I mean, if I was down, I think I'd probably bring in on Romoshenko. But stay. I think
there's a natural switch there in Sorochinsky for Dakor to protect against that red card. I think if I was Horse, I'd be tempted, given how poorly the DMs are playing, I'd be tempted to maybe go 2 AMCs and 1 up top. But we'll see what they do. Both changes come in at the same time, so we'll go with the Horseman first. Romoshenko for Sand, please. And Gio for Volodenkov. So he does stick with the 2 up. And Dudley go Sorochinsky for Dakor, which is probably the easiest substitution to predict tonight, really. Stackington need a goal, really, to at least stop Dudley Hill from really pulling away from them. And we jump to 85 minutes and there's absolutely nothing happened in the last 15. And Dudley Hill secure what is a massive 3 points in their resurgency. First half was a really, really cracking end-to-end game. And then second half seemed to die out. Savage, what's your thoughts there, mate, at full time?
Just nothing happened that last half hour, did it? At all. Yeah, it was a really good game. Really, really tight. It could have gone either way. But yeah, like I say, good 3 points for Steve.
Yeah, probably. That Mendieta 7 turns into an 8, they probably score. I know he had one disallowed, but again, I was saying to Horst the other day that I really respect to him. Didn't kind of know what his best 11 is, and didn't think he did. So maybe Horst kind of lives to fight another day and rebuild. That is a massive 3 points for Dudley Hill. Puts them into the 6 for the first time this season. Or the first time since the first couple of game weeks, even if I can't remember how they started. What a massive win that is. Northern Burn against Vikings is our last game of the evening, I believe. Are you going with a prediction here?
1-1.
1-1. If Vikings were to beat Northern Burn tonight, Haggis would have a 6-point gap at the top of the table, and that'd be the first time in a fair while that we've had a 2-win buffer. If Vikings were to win, they would find themselves again back into that mix, and we'll see how they go. 2 great managers and 2 managers who like to play the game on the front foot, so hopefully there'll be some goals to see us off tonight. Fiore lets it fly with a big save. Chiotis involved early, not what Jens would want to see, but Northern Burn are very, very good at home. Montella, Tomadira's obviously went out the door to Dudley Hill, I think, so Montella's firmly the number 1, despite some poorer performances at the start of the season. Duff, Ortega, great player from Northern Burn, but here come the Vikings. Roy Keane with a booking, Cafu, Cordoba in there, and another booking for Northern Burn. The Vikings are just slowly eating their way into this game, but there is Ariel Ortega, who continues his good form this season and puts his side 1-0 up. Can they get a half-time with 1-0, or can the Vikings get back into it? Totti, Scholes, Roy Keane loses it there. You thought maybe a second yellow was going to come in there, and just on the stroke of half-time, a man that Vikings know all too well from his time with them, it is Francesco Totti, who puts his side 2-0 up. The text did not feel like Vikings created nothing there, Savage.
No. I mean, it felt, from what I could see of it, it felt pretty orange heavy, but not that orange heavy. That's mad. I mean, 0 corners. That's your telltale.
Yeah, Northern Burn have just absolutely shut them down there, really. Jens will be kind of ruined that after his recent resurgence, but that does feel like it's Vikings of 8 or 9 game weeks ago, really struggling to create anything. I'm just bringing Vikings up first because I can kind of suspect that there'll be an as is from Edwards, and there is, but we'll just show him it just so he's aware. Roy Keane with the yellow cards a couple of seasons ago, that might have been a little bit of a source of anxiety for Edwards, but certainly not this season, you would say, given the refs. We'll keep Vikings up on screen, and we'll just have a little look at their shape. Savage, would you be doing anything here if you were Vikings?
I'd be tempted to maybe bring one of the forwards back.
2 EMCs?
Just to supply Anelka. Try and get a few more into him, maybe.
So it's Salas for Henri, Petit for Cole, and swap with Kaladze, and that is it for Jens. Edwards is as is, so we will race to 60. 46 minutes, Ortega with another chance. Duff with a chance. Petit, Chiotic, and there is Ortega. It's been disallowed. Northern Burn were nearly home and hosed in a way there, but Vikings still, maybe with a goal, would find themselves back into this. We get the 64 minutes. Ivan Cordoba's got a 5 with a booking. 6s, and the only 8 of note really is Cafu, whose name has been mentioned in the text, to be fair to him, but it still doesn't feel as though Vikings created anything there, Savage.
No, maybe it needs Brozek outright. AMR for Brozek. But yeah, he's that's not going to happen. But I don't know how he's gonna change that up, really.
It is an as is from Edwards. I think we might see a one at the back here, given where Vikings are in the league and some of the other results tonight, and how poor they've been for 65 minutes. Robbie Keane on for Brozek. Bring Petit next to Emerson. Centralise Jeremies, and I'm guessing the well-played Ian Mate kind of tells you that that's Jens done with those changes, the equivalent of a done, I think. So we will crack on. We'll see if Vikings can sacrifice that DMC into MC and control any more of the game. Texter's looking a little bit more blue and red, but Chiotis again with another big save. Robbie Keane now involved. The centre-backs feel as though they've been absolutely dominant, and now that puts it over the bar. Cordoba, not the type of player you'd want to see getting to the rebound. Petit, Vikings retain possession, definitely better. Nalka hits it over the bar, but those 2 late chances for Vikings. Other than that, Northern Burn in complete control. Man of the match, Francesco Totti. Again, centre-backs just absolutely tackled and headed away anything that moved or came near them, only missing one of each. And unfortunately, in contrast to that, the Vikings are a sea of 6s and 7s. What's your thoughts there at full time, Sav?
I think Vikings are lucky that was only 2-0. Looking at that.
Yeah, I think
it was only 2-0.
Yeah.
That was absolute steamroller in that.
Yeah, it's long sustained periods of pressure, and Chiotis definitely kept them in the game. So this is where we're at full time, and given how tonight has went, I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to do that, just in case. So we've got a save and a backup save as we get the classified Savage. We saw Badgers continue to pile on the misery for Fulchester United. Goals from Clive, Agahawa, Rossini and Zanoni. Not very often that Badgers score 4. Tate will be delighted. Dudley Hill, a massive result as part of their resurgency. Del Piero and Contra putting them 2-1 up and holding out until full time. East Coast Cosmos coming from a goal behind to do what Dimble does with his subs and winning 2-1. Foss Road, Haggis in absolute control for the best part of 90 minutes, although the stats indicated that Foss Road created. Guedes and Vieira putting them 2-0 up to extend their lead at the top to 3 points now, given that Northern Burn have won. Northern Burn in complete control, as we've just seen. Ortega and Totti 2-0 against Vikings. Sloths, the better team for much of the game. Exiles creating very, very little until the second half, and Van Bommel and Viduka share the spoils for their respective managers. Alf Bridge at the wheel tonight, and Sancte nipping a tight one tonight. Worst team in the 2 for the best part of 60 minutes. Until Inzaghi popped up with a goal, and it feels like we got away with one tonight, which leaves the table looking like this. Haggis 3 points clear. Fulchester's slip continues, but they're 5 points above the dotted line. Credit to Macca for how he's done. Badgers into 4th now on 26 points. Sorry, they were 4th at the start of the night, I believe. But East Coast Cosmos overtaking Foss Road into 5th on 26 points. Dudley Hill leaping into the 6th for the first time this season, other than the first couple of games, which didn't really count. It wasn't really a form line. Foss Road now, they've been on a little bit of a downward spiral since game week 10. Smuts will be keen to arrest that. Stanley still find themselves amongst it, just a point away from Dudley Hill on 22 points, but you'd have to think that Savage and the Assman will be ruin that defeat tonight, because they could have been into the 6 on 25 points. Sancte from more or less bottom are pulling themselves into the equation, hopefully, with some big games against Coast and Foss Road to come up in the next 3. Exiles in 10th on 21 points. You'd feel Fifey will be ruining those missed opportunities to play against the narrow formation tonight. Vikings, despite their defeat comprehensively tonight, are in 11th on 19 points. Stackington dropping on 19 points. Sloths, the slump continues now for Sloths. That is surely the biggest crumble that we've ever seen in Super League history. And Los Santos Kings on 50 points at the bottom. Any thoughts there on the table and results, Savage, as you look?
I think it's the top 6 is still. I say the top 6, a place in the top 6 is still up for grabs. 1 through 5 feel like they're starting to pull away a little bit. But that sixth place could go to any one of easily of 5 teams there, if not 7, 8. I think the only team really struggling now is, unfortunately, Los Santos, who need a win just to come level. So It's starting to feel a bit grim for them.
Yeah, Thursday night's fixtures, and I believe Thursday night's games will be Tato, who will be looking for co-coms, so feel free to put yourselves forward, lads. Interestingly, tonight, Savage sees us get into single figures for the remainder of the season. We are now into 9 games left, so 27 points to play for. So on Thursday night, with Tato as your streamer, we have Exiles against Dudley Hill, Fulchester against Northern Burn. That's a massive game, given how Fulchester's form has went up for the last couple of weeks. Haggis against Stanley doesn't get any easier for you there, Savage mate. Los Santos against
No.
Sloths, Sancti against East Coast. I think my record against Dimble is inconsistent, I would say, but that's a massive home game for us, really, and especially in relation to the rest of the 6. Stackington against Badgers and Vikings against Foss Road. Anything kind of standing out for you tonight, Savage, as I just look at the team of the week and also some player stats and some team stats in terms of the form table? Sancti top of the form table. Who'd have thought we'd see that? Fucking hell. Player
You've been
stats,
on a turn.
anything? Hey?
You've been on a turn. You've been all right.
Yeah, it'd be amazing if I actually played the first half of the season, mate, wouldn't it? Anything?
You want to try that next season? Just play all of it rather than half.
I think that's really good advice, mate. I think that is really good advice. Anything sticking out for you, mate?
Usual culprits. Usual culprits up top in it, I think. There's nobody.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, Mario Cuenca or Quentha or however you want to pronounce it at Haggis, he's been a bit of a revelation. I mean, not aware he's come out of.
Yeah, another one of Rox's gem finds, I think. Absolutely, the lad continues beyond Thursday night, so going into next Sunday, which will be Ste. Those are the fixtures. Sancti against Sloths, Los Santos against Exiles, Burn against Stackington, Stanley against Vikings. You really would think, Dimble's just hit the nail on the head there, I think. You really would feel that, given what's happened this season so far, anything can happen. And Savage, any kind of parting thoughts before I close the show, mate?
It's all still to play for. Don't matter who you are. Don't give up. Don't throw the towel in. It's all a game. It's all fun.
Absolutely. Packs will be out in probably the next 15-20 minutes or so, lads. There's a few transfer deals just to process, so I want to make sure I get those spot on for the lads ahead of the next round of fixtures. And just a little reminder that there's about 8 or 9 of us in Leeds next Saturday for a bit of a kickabout and some beers after. Everybody's welcome if you fancy popping in for a pint or a hello. That'd be absolutely great. Apologies for the lag issues tonight, lads. I don't know what the hell was going on with YouTube and StreamYard and me Wi-Fi and all that sort of stuff, but thank you for being patient and understanding. And Viva la Super League. We'll see you on Thursday night with Tato. Wayo!